Why would abortion be required?
Well, that's my question.
If it's a fallopian tube pregnancy?
Like if the decision was to, if we were in a scenario where the decision was to either save the baby's life or end my girlfriend's life, would saving the baby's life be the morally correct decision objectively?
No, if it's going to kill her.
Is abortion ever morally justified? What if the mother's life is at risk? Today, we tackle one of the most difficult ethical and theological dilemmas that many Christians face. In this video, Frank Turek addresses whether abortion is justified to save the mother's life, specifically in cases like ectopic pregnancies. But does this answer the full picture? Are there biblical and medical considerations that need to be explored further? Open book, stick around as we examine the biblical foundation for the sanctity of life, explore medical advancements that challenge common assumptions, and discuss the broader ethical implications of this debate. Whether you are pro-life, pro-choice, or still questioning, this discussion is crucial in understanding what it truly means to defend life from a Christian perspective. Let's dive in.
All right, Dana's son. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Peter.
Hey, Peter.
I'm 21, and I've been dating my girlfriend for 5 years, and we want to have a family, but we struggle with the idea that we might have pregnancy complications, and something like abortion might be required.
Why would abortion be required?
Well, that's my question.
If it's a fallopian tube pregnancy?
Like if the decision was to, if we were in a scenario where the decision was to either save the baby's life or end my girlfriend's life, would saving the baby's life be the morally correct decision objectively?
No, if it's going to kill her. Because you already know she's here.
Yeah.
Right? So in that case, the abortion is not intended to kill the baby. The abortion is intended to save the life of the mother.
Right.
And if there's a fallopian tube pregnancy, the baby's not going to make it anyway. That abortion is designed to save the life of the mother, not to kill the child. So if that were to happen, that's a perfectly legitimate instance of abortion, like the only one.
Okay.
Because the intention is not to kill the baby, the intention is to save the mother, and the only way to save the mother is to take the baby out of the fallopian tube.
Thank you.
All right, great question.
The question of whether abortion is justified to save the mother's life is one of the most ethically complex issues in Christian apologetic. Frank Turek rightly points out that the intent matters. The principle of double effect, where an action has two consequences, one intended, one unintended, is important in this discussion. In an ectopic pregnancy, the child has no chance of survival, and removing the fallopian tube to save the mother's life is not the same as actively seeking to kill the child. However, the Bible provides a deeper perspective on why life must be protected at all costs. Psalm 139 verses 13 to 16 states, "For you created my inmost being, you knit me together in my mother's womb." This affirms that life is sacred even before birth. Jeremiah 1 verse 5 further emphasizes God's sovereignty over life, saying, "Before I formed you in the womb I knew you." These passages reinforce that every human life, born or unborn, is valuable to God. That said, the medical field continues to evolve, and in many cases, high-risk pregnancies can now be managed without requiring abortion. James 1 verse 5 reminds us to ask God for wisdom, and this wisdom should extend to seeking medical counsel and advancements that align with God's moral law. Furthermore, some argue that God allows suffering to bring about greater purposes. Romans 8 verse 28. While losing a mother or child is devastating, our response should be to seek life-preserving solutions, not accept a culture that prioritizes convenience over morality. Deuteronomy 30 verse 19 commands us to choose life, so that you and your children may live. Ultimately, the question of abortion, even in life-threatening cases, should be approached with humility, seeking both medical expertise and biblical wisdom. Christians must advocate for life while also acknowledging that real-world scenarios require discernment. As believers, we must uphold both truth and grace in these conversations. Link, want to explore more about Christian ethics? Check out our video, Eternal Life Only for Believers? What Frank Turek says next will shock you. Keycap 5 books book recommendations for further study. Open book, The Case for Life, Scott Klusendorf. A solid pro-life apologetic book that provides logical and theological arguments against abortion while addressing tough moral dilemmas. Open book, Abortion and the Early Church, Michael J. Gorman. Explores historical Christian views on abortion and how early Christians defended the sanctity of life. Open book, Pro-Life Answers to Pro-Choice Arguments, Randy Alcorn. A comprehensive guide addressing common pro-choice claims and providing biblical and logical responses. Open book, Why Pro-Life? Randy Alcorn. A shorter, accessible book for those new to the pro-life discussion, emphasizing biblical principles and compassion. Open book, Mere Christianity, C.S. Lewis. Although not directly about abortion, this book lays a foundation for moral law, which is crucial in ethical debates like this.